Hi, everybody. This is Paul Hitchcock. I'm the president and founder of Giant Jacks Media. We help others to grow and nurture their business. Welcome to Giant TV. Really excited to have Jim Bramlett here on the show, who is an incredible Vistage Chair out of Lenexa, Kansas. Welcome, Jim.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking offline. I think what you have going on is great. But Jim, I want to hear about what you're involved with there with Vistage. What are you building and who you working with? And tell me a little bit about yourself there too.
Yeah, Paul, I spent 42 years in the business world, mostly in transportation and logistics. Had a knack for starting new services, but also founded a couple companies.
Right.
And I got to be honest, when I was doing it, I didn't know of Vistage and wish I had. I'm a big believer in peers. And so I was contacted by Vistage, wanted to build another chief executive or CE group in the Kansas City area. Based on my past experience and wishing to set the clock back and have peers, I said, hey, this sounds like something very worthwhile and fulfilling. And so I jumped in and started building my group last October.
Yeah, and I want to say, Jay, because you told me offline, you said one of the reasons you were so attracted to Vistage is because when you look back at your own career, you felt like you were lonely on an island, didn't have anybody to go to, which I know is a really big advantage of being a Vistage. So you experienced it yourself.
Absolutely. It was the loneliest job I ever had. My wife didn't want to hear about it for sure.
No, she was like this. No more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you started building Vistage. Tell me about how that's going and what the experience is like and who's in there.
Yeah. So it took me 4.5 months to launch. I launched at the end of January with 9 members, and I've got, obviously, with my background in logistics, I've got a warehouse fulfillment, transportation company, business process outsourcing, aerospace manufacturing. I've got a really good group. Mostly, I'd say the average age is in their mid-40s. So they're young, they're hungry, they want to grow both personally and professionally, and it matches up really well with what I'm trying to get accomplished.
Yeah, and so Jim, you're meeting monthly with your group there, and are people opening up there? I mean, is the power that you hear about with these peer groups, is it happening from issue processing and all that stuff? Is it flowing?
Yeah, I think so. I sometimes looking at the group as close as I am, it's hard to tell, but then I hear them talking and I introduce them to prospective candidates, and the testimonials they give are very reassuring. So, concentrating on continuing education, leadership education, and then processing issues, they're all getting a lot of value out of it. But, with any new group, it takes a little bit for their vulnerability to show up and be willing to share. So I'd say we're still kind of early in that journey to get them really, really comfortable.
Yeah. And I've heard other chairs say that they know they're doing their job in the monthly sessions if the chair isn't saying very much, but they're sitting back and everybody else is interacting and going at it, and you're kind of quarterbacking. Would you say that's a fair statement?
It's a very fair statement. I told them in the very first meeting, of course, I'm in Kansas City, 20 minutes from the University of Kansas. And I told them in the very first meeting, I said, look, 10 basketball players don't all get together and say, hey, we're going to go play for Bill Self. That's not how it works. Bill goes out and finds 10 players, and those 10 have to say, yeah, I want to play for you. And then when they show up in Lawrence, Kansas, they become a team. And I told them, I said, look, when you guys start working together and talking and I don't know about it, I know it's starting to become a team. And I'm really seeing that play out now. And it's very reassuring that they are bonding together and trusting each other.
Oh, that's great. I love the hoop analogy. I'm a big hoop guy. I play hoops, and Jim, the main goal for me when I'm playing hoops now, just don't get hurt.
I get it.
Yeah, no injuries. That's great. So then your one-to-ones you're doing, Jim, those are incredible. Tell me how, like, what's your mindset going into a one-to-one? Are you just all ears? Are there specific issues, or is it whatever they have going on?
Yeah, I tell them all, I said, I'm going to ask you three questions on every meeting. How's your family and personal life? How's your health? Now let's talk about business. What's on your mind? And it's amazing. They just, I don't have to probe very deeply. Whatever on the top of their mind, they start digging in. And I really just do a lot of listening and a lot of probing. And ultimately, I'm trying to uncover issues and opportunities and challenges they're facing that we might bring to the group setting.
Yeah, so you're going to their business is when you do the one-to-ones?
No, we're actually every one of them have been in a neutral site. I want them to be very comfortable. We'll do it over a cup of coffee. We'll do it at a library. We'll do various places, but in a neutral setting. I want them to be kind of away, detached from the business and not be interrupted. And I find that works best.
Oh, so that's interesting. That makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, because if you're sitting in your office, the phone's ringing, assistants coming in, that I get that. What do you enjoy the most about being the chair? And what do you get back from it?
Well, I was telling somebody this the other day. I love business. I love learning how every business works, what makes it tick, what makes it grow. But I also like understanding the challenges, but I don't have the personal stress that they have.
Right.
My stress is to make sure they're getting every resource that I can afford them to help them, grow, deal with problems, etc. But I really like just learning about their businesses, their challenge, and then seeing if I can apply any resources to help them. That's what I like the best.
Yeah, no, I love it. And who are you trying to get in there now that would be a good fit with this? Because chairs say you can't have a toxic personality come in. If you got a good thing going, it's got to be the right fit. You're just not allowing anybody to be in there. You got a great thing. So who is that person that would be a good fit?
Yeah, the person that's a good fit is somebody who's vulnerable, humble. They are wanting and willing to learn, but also wanting and willing to share. And they want to grow. They want to grow their business. Status quo isn't good enough because all of my members today are in that mode. They want to take their companies to the next level. And what's really important for me, when I get a candidate, they've got to come in and meet as many members as possible. They've got to be comfortable because it's the chemistry. It's all about the group. So it's the chemistry. My group has to meet them and they have to meet the group. And then I meet with both offline, say, what do you think? And that's the trigger to go forward.
Got it. Any industry groups you're looking for now?
Yeah, I am really on the warpath and hunt for IT, and here's why. I absolutely believe that AI is the next revolution. I tell my group, you see this gray hair. I tell my group, I was around in 1995 when this thing called the internet came out. And there were two groups of people. There was this group that said, it's a fad, never lasts. And, then there's the other group that was curious. Well, hey, AI's out here. I don't want you to be that first group say, it's just a fad, never going to last. It will transform your business. I can't tell you exactly how, but I need you to be curious. I need you to learn. So I've had two workshops now solely on AI, and I believe it will absolutely transform their business. And I tell them all, hey, if you don't become curious and figure some of this out, your competitors are. And I don't want you to be at a disadvantage. So I'm looking for somebody in IT who has some experience with AI, because as my members start brainstorming, can I do this? Can I do that? I'd like another sounding board in the group that can say, yeah, that's very possible, and here's how we should accomplish that. So that's my number one target is IT.
So that's incredible. I love AI. I know Vistage as an organization is all over AI, and everyone's talking about it. Huge focus, and you got some amazing Vistage speakers who are traveling around speaking on AI. So I love it. Couldn't agree with you more. Jim, awesome discussion. Love what you're doing. I want to thank you for being on here. Thanks everybody for listening. Yeah, stay tuned because let's track your progress. Love to have you back on here, Jim.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. I really appreciate it. I love what you're doing. Getting messages out to leaders to don't go alone, man. The old African saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I'm a big believer in that. So thank you for what you do.
Yeah, no, appreciate you saying that. We'll chat again soon.
All right, great.
Okay, Jim.